Our next poet is also an actor, an excellent cook I might say, and much more besides. Please give a big round of applause to the fabulous Anthony Mulligan.
Right, got it. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Just a handful of poems here. This one's called A Tasty Morsel. And it goes like this. 5 lines I wrote you. A half poem. A love poem. You sent it back. So I sent it instead to the fishmonger on Chapel Street. Cobbles and carts in the past, and the smell of fish. Tarmac now, sickly in the summer, exhaust fumes, but still the smell of fish. Fresh and pungent, you cannot wrap that smell away. He's a practical man. He knew what to do with my poem. He wrapped your hake up in it, my half poem. My words clung to the blood and the scales. They were soaked into that fish. That fish tried to eat my poem. You screwed the paper up, binned it, grilled the hake with lemon and tarragon, a tangible herb, tea-like. Did you choke on my words, osmosed into flaky flesh? Did a bone, incised with a metaphor, lodge in your windpipe? No, it was the best fish you had ever tasted. You licked your lips, succulent and soft, slipping smoothly down, turning to fat, turning to muscle, turning to bone. What your body didn't want, it got rid of the next day. But you couldn't get rid of my half poem, my love poem. Now this next one was written for my young nephews and nieces. It was written one winter, and it's from the point of view of a child, and it's called Winter When I Was Young. The stars dropped out of the midnight sky 2 nights ago. I watched them tumble, wide-eyed, through the curtain gap. They must have fallen, I guess, a million, billion, trillion miles or more. One by one they fell and fell and fell. In the morning they had embraced the world. They held it still like a paused breath, soft and quiet. Scared to burn our feet, we tiptoed across the tops of them, leaving footprints in the Milky Way, and made crystal castles with their embers. Orion's belt became our moat, Cassiopeia our castle gate. Our hands were red, our fingertips were white, and the sky was empty, forlorn, grey. Last night, God must have wanted them back again, for through the curtain gap, I saw them up again, and each was in its proper place. This morning when I woke, the streets were like before, only wet and washed. Not a fragment or a filament remained. I wonder if they'll come again, those impermanent presents, those glittering gifts from the heavens. Okay, the third one is called My Father's Map. My father came last night. He didn't knock. He startled me. I'd almost gone to sleep. I felt a cooling breeze. And there he was, just the same, serious and kind. He'd brought an ancient map. He rolled it out, dry and crackling. Rivers, ships and land. He didn't say a word, but traced his finger. I followed it, every twist and turn. I woke up, very tired. We dressed in black. The earth was hard. Metal rang on clods. He never came again. His picture's in my pocket. And in my heart, his memory, a guide. Okay, this penultimate poem is quite different. It's quite an angry poem. It's called The Emperor's New Clothes. And I've thought a lot about clothes and the money we spend on them, and the little money that it takes to produce them, especially in terms of labour. It's an extraordinary market we live in today. On one level, it's just the market. It's what we do. We trade, we sell, we buy. It's extraordinary. It's an energy. However, there is a lot of exploitation, and it was prompted by things in the news. I think there was a factory that collapsed very recently. There's all sorts of stories. Anyway, this is called The Emperor's New Clothes. Clothes. Blank-faced, wasted, skinny as a starving child, she marches down the catwalk. Her heels, Lord Drud. Shall I sew you to a sheet? That was Mrs. Malaprop. I'll start again. The Emperor's New Clothes. Blank-faced, wasted, skinny as a starving child, she marches down the catwalk. Her heels draw blood at every step. Mannequin or man, as vacant as an empty school, posing in a magazine, his belt pulls tight around her neck. You pull the soft wool slowly on against your skin. Today you're in the pink. In Bangladesh, his future's looking black. Flashlights, camera, made up cold eyes looking down, puking up her dinner as a family scrounges in the bins. Oh, what a lovely pattern, what a stylish cut, as you fasten up the buttons whilst you're stitching up their lives. Your whole wardrobe stinks. The smell of burning flesh. There's brick dust on your coats and in her eyes and nose. You pull your collar even closer as you try to block the siren's wail and mothers screaming for their kids. Hands stuffed deep in pockets. Lots of money spent. Gotta have the latest label. You're really dressed to kill. I'm not normally that angry, am I, Elke?
Not normally.
No, not normally. And the last poem, this is the last one, it's called Between the Lines. It's one of those poems that came in a flash. A friend who some of you know called Hannes, he's Estonian, and he was called up for military duty, what do they call it? National Service. He's a lovely fellow, and a few of us from Chisholm House know him. Anyway, one day on Facebook, he Facebooked and was bemoaning the drudgery and wondering what he was doing his national service, and said, "Anthony, send me a poem." So I just wrote a poem that night after his message and sent it off to him. And it's called Between the Lines. It's for Hannes, but it's for everybody. Between the lines. Crawling through the mud and rain, learning survival, and again, my thoughts they turn to you. I can hardly see ahead of me, fighting to be free. I know that you are here. Orders, gunfire, battle, some say we're only cattle, but with you, our guiding force. Blood and sinew, blood and bones, dreaming of our childhood homes. You are the one I love. Leave or end of duty, no glory and no booty, save your picture in my heart. Although these days have passed, the feelings they still last, and you will never leave me, as the shadows cast are fading fast, and just your light remains.